Melvin. Today I wanted to talk about some recent positive experiences I've had around coming out as transgender at a black church. So often when we talk about black churches and LGBT people, discussions focused on how homophobic they are, spiritual abuse from the pulpit, and a lot of negative experiences. I think a lot of folks understand black churches to be homophobic institutions and black religious folk or black Christians to be homophobic people. However, the black church is not a monolith, and there are black churches that are open and affirming of LGBT people. And I just want to talk about that. I do want to stress though that I'm not downplaying or diminishing the experiences of those who have experienced homophobia at a black church. Many people have those experiences and they're really harmful and they're really awful. But my reason behind making this video is to offer a different narrative about black churches and being LGBT, and give an example of how coming out can actually lead to some constructive and positive change. I am a member of Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, which I would describe as a large, progressive, black church of over 8,000 members. I've been a part of the men's choir ministry for almost 2 years now. About 2 months ago, the men's ministry, which is a separate ministry, organized a game night for the men of the church. The ministry wanted to do a game night because they thought it would be a good idea to build camaraderie among the men of the church leading up to an upcoming Men's Day weekend, or Men's Weekend. So I went to the game night. They had rented out a large banquet hall, and about 60 guys showed up. After we had all done the opening prayer and ate our food, the game host, introduced the icebreaker we would be doing, which was called Two Truths and a Lie. For those of you who've never heard of that game or played it before, it's used as a way to get to know each other a little better. You know, each person will share 3 statements about themselves. 2 of them are true, 1 is a lie, and the game is that you have to guess, which are the truths and which one is the lie. So I really liked this game, so I was, eager to play, and I took a slip of paper and began to write down my 3 statements that I was going to use. My first truth that I used was I called my dad a nigger when I was 8 years old. Sad, but true story. My lie was that I once ate an entire chocolate cake in one sitting. Never done that before. And I struggled with what to put for my second truth statement. I couldn't think of anything that was interesting about myself that you wouldn't necessarily guess, except the fact that, I'm transgender. So I wrote down my second truth. I used to be a woman. So I held onto my slip of paper until about 4 or 5 guys had gone up to the front of the room and shared their 3 statements and had everybody guess, or had the room guess, which were true and which were the lie. The guy sitting next to me at the table, who I'd been talking to that entire evening, kept urging me to get up there and go, and do it. And I started to think about if I should actually do it, asking myself why and why not. I realized that the only reason why I wouldn't come out to the men at my church was because I wanted them to continue to treat me like a man. And then I asked myself, what do you mean by that? What does it mean to treat someone like a man? And which I couldn't really answer. And then I started thinking about all the reasons why I should go ahead and go through with it. Number 1, if I'm interested in building authentic relationships with men, then I needed to be authentic in those relationships. For me, that meant freeing myself from the closet. 2, I believe strongly in the power of personal relationships to affect change. In fact, for any sustainable change to happen, I think it requires us winning hearts and minds by coming out to the people in our life. Those personal connections are what drives movements. So my coming out would give these men an opportunity to challenge some assumptions they may have had about gender by letting them know that they already know someone who is transgender. Number 3, if I chose to come out, it would be my only opportunity to do so. And number 4, if I chose to come out, it would almost guarantee that I would win the game and win the special prize. So I chose to do it. I got up there and I said my 3 statements one by one, leaving the transgender statement for the end. I used to be a woman. And a lot of the guys, actually most of the room, just laughed, thinking that was totally ridiculous. Obviously that's the lie. Go ahead and take a seat, Melvin, blah, blah, blah. So when I did the grand reveal, saying that actually the statement about the chocolate cake was the lie, the room fell silent. Jaws were dropped. I looked over at the host and his face was just like, it was kind of surreal, you know. I had just done something that ballsy. You know, church was the last part of my life where I wasn't out, and I had no idea what was going to happen, and I just did it. I didn't give a fuck. Afterwards, all the participants who shared their statements lined up in front of the room, and they did an applause meter to decide, you know, who was going to be the winner. You know, who had the most convincing statements. The applause I got was overwhelming. So I took the first prize, which ended up being an iTunes gift card. And I'm a DJ, and so I was really, really happy about that. So after I took my seat, the guy that I'd been sitting next to, you know, the entire evening I'm talking to, you know, he gave me a fist bump, and he was like, you know, that was really awesome that you did that, which kind of surprised me because I wasn't expecting that at all. And, you know, other guys came up to me afterwards, you know, one by one, you know, a bunch of guys came up to me and said that was really beautiful, and they appreciated that I shared that with them. I even had guys invited me to, you know, be a part of their ministry and asking me to be part of their ministry, and thinking that could, you know, it would be great for me to contribute. And it was really awesome. So fast forward to this past weekend, we had our special men's weekend, which included a retreat, a men's retreat on Saturday. And the retreat, at the retreat there were breakout sessions on different things. One of the sessions I went to was led by a black senior to loving man in the church, sharing a story about how he came out, and how he's come to accept his sexuality and reconciling it with his faith. And it was an awesome session. You know, people were really respectful. After the speaker shared his story, which was great, one of the guys in the room shared with everyone in the room that his son had recently come out to him as gay. And the emotion pouring through this guy, you know, was so touching. He was also struggling with it, you know. As honest, as much as he loved his son, he was still struggling with accepting his child. But he loved him no matter what. He said he appreciated listening to the speaker's story because it helped him get a sense of what his son might be going through. And what really warmed my heart was how supportive and attentive everyone in the room was with this guy. After him, another guy shared a story about how his son came out to him recently as gay and how he was also struggling with it. And then another guy in the room also told us about a woman in the church whose daughter had come out as lesbian years ago, but the woman had struggled with it, but now she accepts it now. And so there were all these people who had all these stories with loved ones being gay. And I kept quiet throughout the session because I really was interested in hearing people's stories and listening to the dialogue that was happening coming out of the session about things we could do at Trinity and for this community. By the end of the session, you know, we all agreed that there was a need for a ministry supporting people whose loved ones were LGBT. After the session, one of the deacons who had remembered my coming out at the game night months ago approached me and encouraged me to help get this ministry started, which is something that I wanted to do anyway, as you know, as I was listening to, you know, people share their stories. Another gentleman after the session, who was also at the game night, remembered my coming out, approached me because he felt, his daughter was struggling with, gender identity in some way, and thought that I would be a good person to talk to. And people were exchanging contact information, and it felt really good, and it felt good to be part of a Black church that is capable of loving and supporting one another openly, those who are LGBT and those whose loved ones are, and not be shamed by it. It also felt good that people have remembered my coming out and saw me as being a potential resource to help other people in the church. So I share this story not to say that all Black churches are amazing and affirming of LGBT people, and that you should come out whenever and wherever you are. But I do want to stress that, there are Black churches that are affirming of LGBT people, and that you shouldn't underestimate the power of your own story and your own coming out in creating change. I'm really looking forward to working with people to build this ministry that's really needed in my church. So with that, I want to end this video Take care, take it easy, hope everyone's well. Peace.